Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. Today, I will be reading in the r/JUSTNOMIL subreddit, so let's jump into it. See that girl? That's Holly. We were hoping her and your boyfriend would get together. So this was a couple of years ago, and a little while ago, my friends and I were talking about mother-in-laws. This reminded me of the saga of my ex and his mother. I, 18-year-old female at the time, was dating a man we'll call Anthony, 24. Yes, there was a small age gap. I finished school at 16 and have been in the workforce ever since, so our period in life just matched up. Anthony and I had been dating roughly 2 months when Christmas was approaching, and he wanted to take me home to his family. I said okay, great. I was so excited. Anthony was in the Navy and would be deployed in 2 months, so this Christmas was a big event before he left. I had my hopes up and was ready to be a part of the family. We take a plane to his hometown, land, and his family is at the airport. We hug and everything. It seems to be going well. The first night was fine enough. It was Christmas, and we had a nice night. I brought a lot of gifts, blankets, comfort stuff, and cookies from home my mom and I made. The next day, we went to a church event. Go through all the singing and sermon, then Anthony leaves to go talk to some friends, thus leaving me alone with his mother. She then points at a girl and says, "That's Holly. We were really hoping her and Anthony would get together. She's such a sweet, great Christian girl. She has a stable family and is going places. But you're okay, I guess." I just stood there, shocked. It hadn't even been 24 hours of knowing each other. 24 hours. When I told Anthony after, he just said, "Oh, yeah, she's always liked her. Don't worry about it." That was just the beginning. Side note, after we broke up, my mom saw on Anthony's Facebook that he was going on a camping trip. Guess with who? Little Miss Holly. The next day, we were going to Silver Dollar City to see the Christmas lights. We drove there, and the drive was fine. We got to our motel, and the parents shared one room, while Anthony and I shared another. Our room had 2 queen beds, but of course, him and I slept in the same bed. The next morning, his mom knocked on our door. She asked, "How did we sleep?" We said well. She then noticed that one of the beds were made, the one I assume she thought I was sleeping in, and said, "Oh, you don't have to make your own bed." Confused, I asked what she meant. She paused and then said, "Oh, you slept in the same bed?" Anthony laughed and said, "Well, yeah. Did you expect us to sleep in separate beds like an old married couple in the early 1900s? She was clearly put off by this, but didn't say anything further about it. The trip was nice and was fun overall. I thought so anyway. The day after we got home, she did Anthony's laundry. I went for a run and came back to find his mom yelling at him. Why? Because she found a condom in his pocket. I later overhear her talking to Anthony's sister, who came in that morning saying that we were sinners and that she doesn't know where this was coming from, so it must be OP's fault. Essentially, calling me a sinner who was just there to corrupt him. Later, Anthony's parents both approached me, asking if I thought we'd be a good fit. His mom started talking about how he'd be overseas and how they're a strong Christian family, and if I am absolutely sure about this relationship. It went from basic prodding to an interrogation about if I got baptized. How strong of a Christian woman would I be? It just got culty and weird really fast. Despite all this nonsense, I stayed with Anthony, and he got deployed a month or so after Christmas. While overseas, he would send me flowers, and I would post them on Facebook showing my appreciation. His mother saw the posts and called him demanding to know why he didn't send her flowers. He then sent her flowers because of that. He sent me chocolate for my birthday. His mom caught wind of this and demanded to know where her chocolate is. So on and so forth. You get the idea. Anything he did for me, she would act like a scorned girlfriend. Soon it was 2 weeks before he got home, and he would fly into the airport near me. his mom decided she also wants to fly in to stay for 2 weeks and see him when he first arrived. Not only that, she wanted to be at the airport to greet him. She stated that she didn't want me there because it should be a family affair. I put my foot down because, screw you, I hadn't seen my boyfriend in months. Anthony was upset with me for not just saying okay and agreeing to his mom's wishes and just waiting to see him whenever he got away from his family. His mom also wanted him to stay with them at their Airbnb when I lived 15 minutes away from the airport, and it was easier for him to just stay with me. His mom threw an absolute fit. And I mean fit. She said I was heartless and was just in it for military benefits, and that she's more important. I said no, I will be at the damn airport, and he's staying with me. Her idea of a compromise? Fine, then I won't be there. Okay, fine. I pick Anthony up, and he's pissed at me. I brushed it off, and we went home. 2 weeks later, we all got over that ordeal, and we went with his parents downtown. I was holding his hand, and next thing you know, his mom would take his arm, even though her husband was right there. She had to hang off him because she apparently was so sad she missed pickup, and how her heart hurt for not being there. At one point, she even made fun of my voice. Anthony was sitting right there and joined in. Whenever I confronted him about anything she said, he'd reply, "Well, she was hurt you wouldn't let her be there, and we were just poking fun." One thing about me, I didn't go to college. I saw no need for it because of the career path I have chosen. We were having dinner one night at their Airbnb, and she went on this whole thing about him going to college, and anybody who doesn't have a college education is stupid and worthless and will never make it anywhere in life. She then looked at me and said, "So, when do you think you'll make something of yourself?" Anthony was sitting right there and didn't say anything or defend me. That's when I had it and went home. I cried the whole way home. He stayed at their place. The next morning he apologized and asked me to just forget about it and come to dinner with him and his family and some family friends, stating it'd be rude to ruin it. I said okay, fine, and I went with them. We went to a seafood restaurant and I got some mussels. I've had them before, but something about them this time caused a severe reaction. I went to the bathroom as my face was swelling up and my throat was swelling shut. My tongue was numb and I could barely talk. I called my mom and she yelled at me to go get some Benadryl. I came out of the bathroom and let them know, and Anthony and I ran to the CVS store to get allergy pills. They were hard to swallow, but I was able to get them down and I was fine after that. We came up behind his family at the restaurant and his mom was talking about how OP's so inconsiderate. She could have at least waited until we were done eating before putting on a ridiculous show. That was the homecoming, the final straw. After constantly being belittled by all of them, and Anthony constantly taking his mother's side, I knew I was dating a boy, not a man. I broke up with him the next day and haven't spoken to any of them since. Good riddance. Great googly moogly. OP put up with that way longer than I would have. Yes, the mom was bad, but the real antagonist in this story is Anthony. What a spineless mommy's boy. If him and Holly really did get together after him and OP broke up, I feel bad for Holly. Good riddance is right. I'm glad OP realized that Anthony was not worth the struggle, especially when he clearly saw his mom as queen. Don't get me wrong, it's great to have a good relationship with your mom, if she's a nice person, but this mom is not. But anyways, that is all for me today. I hope you enjoyed that Just No Mail story. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!